This video is a general introduction to using the Visual Authentication Journey Builder, a visual editor for creating Azure AD B2C custom policies. This assumes you have an understanding of the basic concepts of AD B2C custom policies and focuses primarily on using this editor. When opening the editor, you'll first be presented with the Quick Start wizard. This will guide you through a Q&A sequence of common scenarios to generate a user authentication journey. First, we select Create a New User Journey. Editing existing user journey XML directs you to a different tool that is not covered in this video. We're going to create a simple scenario here. We want a user journey that allows users to create and log into local accounts and which also allows them to log in using Google. Since we want users to be able to create their own accounts, we want to select self-service signup. We're not going to worry about many of the extra features like conditional access or multi-factor authentication. We want users to log in with the local accounts with email and password. We're not going to worry about account migration. But since we want users to log in with a Google account, we also want to support outside account providers. We also want to be able to link those Google accounts to a local account. So we choose yes here. Finally, we choose which account providers we want to enable, so Google. And this reaches the end of the Q&A. We can continue from here to deploy a generated authentication journey corresponding to our answers to these questions to a test sandbox tenant. Once it's deployed, we can test the policy with this link. And we can see our final output token. We can also exit the Quick Start wizard at this point to view the generated flowchart in the editor. The Quick Start wizard generated this flowchart based on our answers to the Q&A questions. This flowchart lays out the flows and routes of the user authentication journey. Before we get into flowcharts in more detail, first I'll cover some other ways to get started in the editor. If you cancel the Quick Start wizard instead, there are additional options. You can load a pre-built template for some scenario, such as phone or email-based multi-factor authentication. This loads a pre-built flowchart template into the editor. The Customize User Journey option presents similar options to the Quick Start wizard in the form of a single form with various options displayed. For example, to make the same flowchart we did earlier with login with Google accounts linked to local accounts, we can just check these two options. This generates the same flowchart as before. The Upload JSON option allows you to load a saved project into the editor in the form of a JSON file. We'll cover how to save those later. Finally, you can start from scratch with an empty flowchart. In the flowchart editor, we can build a user journey by dragging and dropping components. I'll make a very simple sign-in journey. I'll start with the sign-up sign-in component. This presents a sign-in interface that allows you to sign in, as well as possibly other links to other routes through the user journey. I select Edit Component to view an interface for editing this particular component. So first, I want to select the claim that the username in the sign-in page is going to be mapped to. I can select from a list of claims. These are all defaults that are enabled in the editor when you first open it. I'm going to have the user use their email to log in and store that in the sign-in name claim. I'm only going to be adding sign-in to this policy, so I'm not going to add additional links in this case. I'm going to select Add Form Submit action to add validations or other actions when the form this component represents is submitted by the user or attempts to be submitted. This adds a subflow where I can create a subflow chart that will run when that form is to be submitted. In this case, I'm going to add a username password validation component. This will validate the user's entered name and password against AAD's local account store. If it fails, they won't be able to continue from the sign up sign in component. And only if it succeeds will they proceed. The local account sign-in node is generated from the sign-up sign-in component because we selected local account sign-in as an option. Similar things will happen if we enable other links, such as create new account. In this case, though, we're only going to be having the local sign-in as an option in this policy. The local account sign-in node just represents an output from this component and isn't editable. Other link options are. In this case, though, after an existing user signs in, we want to get a few more claims information about the user from AAD. So we're going to add a component to read some claims from AAD. The index we're going to use to look up the user by is their object ID. We're fine with throwing an error if they don't exist because they shouldn't be able to log in otherwise. Now we can map claims that will be read from AAD into claims in B2C. So the given name AAD attribute will map to the given name claim. Similarly, we'll read the surname of the user as well. These don't have to match in name. This just creates a mapping between the AAD attribute and the B2C claim. We'll save these changes on this component and continue. You'll see as I go along, the validation results here are indicating errors in the flowchart. To be able to generate XML, there can't be any errors remaining. In this case, though, the error is just saying that this node needs to be followed by another. We'll fix that by adding a token issuer. This is the terminating point of most user journeys, where a token is ultimately issued. In the token issuer component, we have some options for the single sign-on session that we won't worry about in this video. And we can specify claims to include in the output token. We can also choose the token protocol. For now, we'll use OpenID Connect. For OpenID Connect, there has to be a subject name claim, which we can select from the claims that we've added to the token down here. We'll include the object ID, sign-in email, and the given name and surname claims. If we wanted these to have different values in the token, we could change the partner claim type over here. For example, we'll replace surname with family name in the actual token. We'll save this component. Now that this user journey is complete, I can deploy directly to a test sandbox tenant by clicking Run Flowcharts. The editor generates XML for the flowchart I've laid out and deploys it to the test tenant. This gives us a Run Now link we can use to test the policy. With the policy I just created, I can log in as a user that exists already on the tenant and get a token containing the claims that we specified in the token issuer. We can see that the sign-in name, given name, and the surname that we renamed to family name in the token are all here. The subject name claim falls under sub, so here's the user's object ID. To save this project to reload in the editor later, I can click Download JSON. This gives us a JSON file that saves the editor state that we can then reload into the editor using the Upload JSON option. If I want to get the generated XML of the policy for manual deployment, I can select Download Policies. Some of the options will be covered in more detail in a future video, but for now, I'll just select the sandbox environment and continue to get the generated XML files. If I want to add more flowcharts to the same project, I can select Add Flowchart and enter a name for the new flowchart. you can select which flowchart to view in the upper right and rename them with the pencil icon. Finally, if I want to create a completely new project, I can select Start Over, which brings back the options from earlier. This sums up this introductory video. As an exercise, try using the Quick Start wizard to create a policy that allows users to log in using email and password or an emailed one-time passcode.